Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about how Terry Crews has decided to respond to Gabrielle Union after he opened up his mouth about her. So he opened up his mouth about her. She didn't really like it, and he decided to respond back to that. So we're going to be going over this in this video. I covered this in Gossip Hour, and I'm going to be using some of the footage from Gossip Hour, but I'm also going to be adding in a few receipts in addition to the message that I already reported. So let me catch some of you guys up to speed who may be lost. So this whole fiasco started when Gabrielle Union was fired from America's Got Talent. She had a contract with them, and it had the opportunity to be extended or not extended. She raised a lot of issues while she was there. She did not like the fact that, you know, she was in company of Jay Leno and he made racially charged jokes. She didn't really appreciate that. There was also an incident about Simon Cowell smoking on set indoors. She didn't really like that. And then there were a lot of other points that she made, and there were a lot of other things and issues that rose up. There was issues and complaints on which the hairstyles that she made was a little bit too ethnic. And there was also complaints on the hairstyles of her other co-star, as well as them both changing their hairstyles too much or something of the effect. I did a previous video talking about this matter, and I talked about some of the issues that was risen around this. But all throughout that, Gabrielle Union had remained silent. The only person that had came forward and was vocal about this was her husband, Dwyane Wade, and he lended his support to her openly and publicly throughout this time, but she kept a tight lip about it and did not say a word. So I'm going to read to you what he had to say in support of her, and then I'm going to read to you some of the complaints that was made based on the situations that was happening, and then we're going to jump into what Terry Crews felt necessary to say, and then what he felt necessary to respond after she was unhappy with it. So this is what Dwyane Wade had to say in support of her when all of this stuff originally happened. Tweeted on November 27th, 2019, it says, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Over this past year, I've been approached by many people saying that my wife, Gabrielle Union, is the main reason they started watching AGT, or that they love her insight and sincerity on the show." So when I got the news that my wife was being fired, my first question was obviously, why? I'm still waiting on a good answer to that question. But if anyone knows Gabrielle Union or have heard of her, you know she's an advocate for our community and culture. So then he followed that up by saying, as proud as I were of her being selected as a judge on AGT, I'm even more proud of her standing up for what she stands for, and that's us. So cheers to you, Gabrielle Union, on not losing sight of the lessons we've talked about teaching our daughter, and for kicking ass while you were on that platform. #1 judge on the biggest show in the world. So that was what Dwyane Wade said, and all throughout him giving her his support, Gabrielle Union said nothing. But this year, Terry Crews decided to lend his opinion about the situation when he went on a show and they asked him what he thought about what the claims were in which was alleged. Now, like I said, there was alleged that there was lack of diversity. There was alleged that, you know, there was all kind of things going on, and Variety kind of put up a big article about all of the allegations that went on during the time in which she was employed by America's Got Talent. I reviewed all of those things in a previous video. If you did not watch it, be sure to check that out. But here is what Terry Crews had to say about it.
Ask you about the Gabrielle Union controversy. Of course, there are reports that her contract wasn't renewed because she reported a toxic atmosphere existed at the show. You're at the show. Is there a toxic atmosphere?
First of all, I can't speak for sexism because I'm not a woman, but I can't speak on behalf of any racism comments. That was never my experience on America's Got Talent. In fact, it was the most diverse place I have ever been in my 20 years of entertainment. The top 10 acts were Asian, women, older, younger, black, white. It was everything in the gamut. Now, I have to say this too. When you look at what the allegations are about, it was given by an unnamed source. My thing is, it's funny because I believe you should listen to women. You should always believe women. So I asked my wife what I should do. And she was like, first of all, if it's coming from an unnamed source, because Gabrielle Union has not made any statement to this day about any of these allegations publicly. So
Have you spoken to her?
I have not. I have reached out, but I have not heard anything. And so my thing was, my wife said, well, if she hasn't made a statement, why would you?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to her.
That's right. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Well, sir, you kind of did not listen to your wife because she said don't make a statement, and you did. You saying that there was absolutely all the diversity in the world suggests that Gabrielle Union was lying, or the unnamed source was lying about there being a lack of diversity. Now, like I told you guys, Variety did a whole report on all of the claims about the hairstyle changes, about the allegations of the racially charged comments. It was a whole big old detailed list of incidents that were very problematic on the show and questions and problems that Gabrielle Union had an issue with, and it ultimately caused her contract not to be renewed. So when this all went down, Gabrielle Union wasn't happy about it. She commented about it and she just was not feeling it. Okay, so she replied and she said, man, we all agreed to let the investigation be completed before we speaking, but if we doing this, oh baby, let's go. Can someone please ask about what happens to all that diversity folks are talking about behind the scenes? Like legit, where the hell is all that diversity in the production though, homie, question mark? In the decision-making ranks who control the fate of the diversity in front of the camera, question mark. And then to that, someone replied to her and they said, it's honestly wild to see people pretend that the glaring racism doesn't exist. We got you though. And then she replied to that and said, why anyone would gleefully get up on TV and tell lies that no one disputed, but we already know. She then said, let's also talk about where the diversity is in the hair and makeup department for contestants that does not reflect all that diversity that hits the stage. Let's Google the execs that run the show and ask follow-up questions about that egregious lack of diversity. Let's discuss the fact.
Where's the diversity in the decision making? Where's the diversity in the production? You don't see no diversity. You probably hardly see a black face or other in the whole production team. So I feel like she was well within her right to respond because you spoke on her situation and you tried to devalue the issue at hand by speaking up, and she was one of the main people in support of you. So it's like, how dare you? How dare you? But let me pull up his Twitter account so I can show you what he replied and said, because I'm like, homie, the audacity of you to try to, what? This is his clapback to what she said. He said, there is only one woman on earth I have to please. Her name is Rebecca. Not my mother, my sister, my daughters, the daughters that you brought into this world who you are supposed to be pleasing them, I guess. I don't know. But he said, not my mama, not my sisters, not my daughters, or co-workers. I will let their husbands, boyfriends, partners take care of them. Rebecca gives me wings. I was just looking at this like...
Not only was he taking shots at Gabrielle Union, but he was low-key taking shots at Dwyane Wade too, because Dwyane Wade is the one who spoke up on her behalf when she had nothing to say. And he had talked about how, she was, looking out for us and, she's about the culture. And so he's taking shots at Gabrielle Union like, I don't care about, I'm not trying to please my coworkers mainly. But I'm gonna let their husbands, boyfriends, and partners take care of them. So he taking shots at her and Dwyane, and just the audacity.
The nerve of you. You're the one who spoke out of place and demeaned what she said, and you tried to invalidate it in your response by saying, well, my experience was this, and I didn't see racism, and I didn't see. That's kind of trying to low-key invalidate her claims about it. So the audacity for you to come back and say the only woman that you got to please is Rebecca. I'm like, excuse me, sir? The same muscle-bound, strong man who wanted everybody to support him. And, they kept throwing around the word, toxic masculinity this and toxic masculinity that, and trying to give him a reason for him not defending himself and him wanting people to support him. And Gabrielle Union being one of those people who spoke up for your ass and defended you and you know what I'm saying? I just could not believe the audacity of him talking about the only woman I have to please. Well, the only person that needs your support is also Rebecca. So when somebody grope your ass, don't get up there and want us to support your ass either. Don't ask for our support because that's the only person you need. You don't need your daughters. You don't need your mama. Your mama? Your mama, the lady who brung your ass in the world, and your daughters whom you brung in the world? Bruh, I can't. I cannot. Like Jocelyn's voice. I cannot. The audacity of you. And honey, baby, let me tell you, Twitter lit his ass up. They lit his ass up in the comment section.
One person replied to his post and said, Rebecca told you to be quiet and you didn't. So did you actually please her? ? Goofy. And then another person said, she literally said, your coworker hasn't said anything, so you be quiet. Another person said, wait, not after all those black women, Gabby included, stuck their necks out for you. This is beyond foul, not to mention nonsensical. Is it only women with partners deserving of protection? ? Really? Should have just sat there and ate your Tootsie Roll. Then another person says, he's once again speaking when he should just be quiet. He's a huge disappointment. Another person replied and said, dude, after you were groped, folks were literally on here laughing at your ass, questioning your manhood and shaming you. But it was black women, especially Gabrielle Union, that were fighting for you. This is your response? Y'all are the fucking weakest links. I swear, a full clown. Another person replied to his comment about him saying the only woman he gotta please is Rebecca, and it's not his mama, his sisters, his daughters, or his co-workers. So they replied and they said, wait, not your daughters? ? I'm confused. They're here because of you. You don't have to please me, but the daughters part is confusing. Okay, and here are a few more of the responses. Like I said, people just was not having it. So this is the one that I already read to you. Another person says, are you surprised? He let a man fondle his balls and did nothing about it. And then another person says, this foolish shit, I cannot. Another person says, as a fan, survivor, and someone who had the opportunity to work with you, this hurts a lot. I hope you're able to take away from Twitter to fully understand why this response is so unproductive. Asking for solidarity during times of mistreatment isn't asking to be pleased. And then another person says, okay, so I read that one. Another person says, you literally came out your black mouth and said you didn't have to please your black mama. Another person says, how soon we forget, and they wanted to remind him of when he wanted support.
Terry, Dominique R wants to know, whose support surprised you the most when you spoke out about the sexual assault that you experienced?
Wow, whose support surprised me the most? You know, to be honest with you, when it first happened, there was none.
Right.
For a long time. But I have to say that the people who surprised me the most were black women. Black men did not want any part of it.
Really?
All my support came from black women, straight up.
That's so.
And that's kind of wild. It shocked me. It shocked my family. It shocked everybody because I thought, oh my God, you know, here I am as a black man saying some things that we've all been through, and a lot of guys just was like, man, you weak, you sorry, you should have hit him, you should have knocked him out, you should have did all this stuff. And black women were like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And I was shocked at the split within my own
You
community.
really noticed that?
That was
wow.
Yeah, basically, you are a sellout, your damn self. So you thought that the people that you sold out being black people, probably don't really fuck with black people like that. So that's why you was surprised that us black people came to your goddamn support.
Oh, man,
wow.
It was deep.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
deep.
Let's go to Elizabeth.
Okay, and then another person said, yo, man, you don't honor your wife by using her as a shield to avoid responsibility for throwing other black women under the bus. And then I already read this one. A person said a lot of toxic masculinity in this tweet mixed in with some tap dancing. Basically, they was calling him like cooning. Another person, Terry Crews is nowhere near as strong as Gabrielle Union. The more he talks, the weaker he looks. So, another person says, man, this is a terrible thing to think, let alone say. You may not believe you have to please them, but they deserve the same human treatment you requested and required when it was your turn to be the person in need of support. Damn, man, it really isn't that hard. Another person says, but what about your daughter? And then they showed this of him throwing his child. Somebody said, you really chose to tweet this on today, you raggedy bee. Another person says, they brought up a tweet from, they dug up his old tweet from before, and he where he said, I will never forget how Shonda Rhimes, Tarana Burke, Gabrielle Union, and countless other black women supported me from day one. You are truly my sisters. Thank you again. So they were pretty much showing like, okay, wait, just last year, you over here mainly saying, you know, you will never forget how Gabrielle Union, one of them, and countless other black women supported you. But then when it came for another black woman to need your support, it just was too hard for you to do. And all you had to do was say, no comment. Another person says, you should have just sat there and flex your pecs. Another person says, all skin folk ain't kin folk. Another person says, Terry, this ain't the way you want to take this. Another person said, I think it's funny he said this, but wanted support for his situation. Woo, the hypocrisy. Another person, they also brung up the tweet that he said where he was thanking Gabrielle Union for being in support of him. And then another person said 25 things that are more supportive of black women than Terry Crews. So they posted this article. And then it says somebody brung up the People magazine article where, Gabrielle Union has spoke up for him. And let's see. Somebody said, no, but for real, this man really said his own daughters and mother could perish and thought it sounded deep. Another person says, also way to respond with this when she and her family, the person who is supposed to take care of her are mourning a huge loss right now. Cool. So, they were saying that in response because this came a day after Kobe passed away. And Dwyane Wade and Kobe were very close, and that was like a part of their family as well. And so she's mourning the loss, and then he come with this bullshit the next day. So that's what they were talking about. And then another person says, the lack of empathy and insensitivity you are projecting is truly disgusting, especially after the support you received in your time of need. Trifling. I will never support any other project you are a part of, and I'm sure I'm one of many. Good riddance. Another person says, tell Rebecca to help you with your tone deafness. Well, she probably can't help with that because I'll just say no comment further, but she probably can't help with his tone deafness because, well, anyways. Another person says, and by the same token, the only black woman that has to support your project is named Rebecca. We are all on the same page here. And I don't think Rebecca is black though. Yeah, I don't think she's black. But anyways, tweeting that joke, you don't care about your daughter's well-being because they won't fuck you is interesting. And then a person replied to that and said, dude always had an off vibe to him. Eventually it bore out. And so they posted up this photo with these clown noses and said, did you really sit here, type this out, and hit send tweet thinking it was a good idea? So people just continue to just go in on him, calling him a clown, a coon, saying that he was insensitive. There is so many people who,
fucking coons! You ungrateful coons! Ungrateful ass fucking coons! You ungrateful coons!
It was so many people calling him a coon. So many people calling him a coon. And, bringing up his old tweet and all of this. They bringing up all these memes.
You're done. Bye. Bye. You're done. Bye. Bye. You're done.
It just was a mess. A mess. A whole and complete, utter mess. A mess. So what do you guys think about all of this? I mean, it just shows that he's just trying to tap dance to keep his job. After he posted that, he was nonstop posting about America's Got Talent. He just posting left and right, and then his final tweet, thank you for watching AGT tonight. See you next Monday. And people just called him out. They were like, as long as you're hosting, I'll pass. And then another person says, all this for a job, a gig, he'll be gone next season. And then they're like, so disappointed. We all had your back. Gabrielle Union exudes truth, light, respect, and loyalty. What a betrayal. You have lost so much more than random people like my support. Gabrielle Union in your corner was a win. You fumbled. No excuses. And then people under this post where he's thanking people for watching him on AGT, they're like, black men, and then they posted this.
No, nigga, no.
And then somebody reminded him and they said, you meant to thank Rebecca, right? And then somebody said, F you and AGT. How about that? Another person, hope you don't come back. And people was they just going in and in and in. You got a couple like, oh, this is the first two positive comments that I've seen. Love you, Terry. Everybody else was not here for him, saying that he was, like this person says, selling out for a paycheck, cooning, and all that jazz. What do you guys think about this? Let me know what you think down below. I just think that it's just quite ironic that not only did he have his own situation where he wanted people to support him, to turn around and at that time of need say, I'm so thankful for black women. I'm so thankful for Gabrielle Union for supporting me and all of that. And when if you didn't want to support her, you didn't have to, but you could have simply just said no comment but to invalidate what she says or invalidate that there was no diversity and try to invalidate those claims. I don't really like that. I don't really like that or appreciate that. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. That's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip.